Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Stream has been approved for truth seekers by the DEFCON Truth Alliance.
If the opinion that's coming out needs people to be silenced, it's a psyop. There are psychological operations in play.
So if you can't question it, if you're supposed to just go along, it's a psyop.
Yeah, and if people have to be silenced or publicly shamed because of their information, and they're not telling people the sky's falling, they're not saying crazy shit. Mm-hmm. They're just saying basic stuff, and they need to be silenced. That is a psyop.
There's a war out there, old friend. A world war. And it's not about who's got the most bullets. It's about who controls the information. What we see and hear, how we work, what we think. It's all about the information.
We're the ones that were on the ground. We're the ones that are actually reporting what's going on.
Patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
We have an Insurrection Act for a reason.
Bad guy can't win. It's a morality tale.
This is warfare. This is warfare.
The eyes see and ears hear, the mind believes.
This is warfare. This is warfare. Goodbye. You can run, but you can't hide.
It's gotta be biblical.
One by one, say goodbye. One by one, say goodbye. One by one, say goodbye. You can run, but this is warfare. This is warfare. This is
There we go.
What's up, Alpha? How we doing?
I'm doing good. Trying to figure out what to put on the screen and what not to put on the screen right there. Dude, a lot going on. A lot to catch this audience up on. If anybody saw Q After Hours, you know that we're going to be pretty motivated for tonight. A lot going on, and hopefully we can have a good conversation at the end of this evening that we kind of hinted to from Sunday night. But with that, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Just I got the studio all warmed up, so it's nice and cozy in here. I just got done with my show. We rated the channel, so rocking and rolling in all chambers, bro.
I don't know if you saw the comments from Q After Hours, but they're like, let's start a crowd fund to get Josh a desk heater. So where do you want to start, man? I mean, I think maybe I shouldn't say the obvious place, but I know a spot that I would at least like to get early on in the show. And we will get to the ads right now. I'm not going to forget about that.
Well, one place I want to start is one thing that we talked about last week. And it was what I just was talking to you about. By the way, Alpha and I haven't talked in probably a day or so. So there's no scripting to any of the show. And so we're going to probably just like, no way, that type of stuff. But if anybody has noticed, Donald Trump for the last week has been posting a massive amount of Q channels, of Patriot channels, and MAGA supporters all over his Truth Social feed. Not only that, last week when Seditious 6 video came out, the White House reposted ours truly, Alpha Warriors video of that. And then more recently, the White House put out a collaboration video of tons of different Patriots. And who was in it? Cam Con. Yeah. And so firstly, eyes on Badlands. That's pretty badass right there. But we told you last week this was going to happen. You remember when we went to General Flynn's Get Ready post?
I do. And
I broke this down last week. General Flynn posted his Get Ready post. And let me bring this up on the squawk box here. If it ever comes up, and it didn't like it. Look at that. Okay, hold on. Oh, I see what happened there. I gotta delete that. Okay. Now that should load. Okay, maybe not. Look at that. Technical difficulties. If anybody, Alpha is always talking about my technical difficulties. Okay, there we go. So this one, Get Ready. He talks about digital soldiers, citizen journalists, right? Well, the timestamp was 4:32 Central, 5:32 Eastern, right?
Right.
Well, if I take this to the boards, hopefully that doesn't go back. Oh, it went back to that one. I'm a rookie.
You're good. While you're reloading that real quick, shout out if you're new to the channel and you're dropping a Rumble rant, we will read all those at the end of the show tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, and I think YouTube took down our super chats, but if they are up for some reason, you send one, we'll read that at the end of the show. Or if you want, you can go to badlandsmedia.tv, and then the top of the website up there, all the way to the far right, you'll see Boost. You can go leave a Boost. That's right there. The only thing we'll read as soon as we catch them is when you guys drop us the gifted subscriptions, because those do disappear. So shout out Freedoms76 who gifted 5 subscriptions to Badlands Media. And with that, I give it back to you, Josh.
All right. So that timestamp was 5:32. And when you go to post 5:32, we talked about this last week. Are you prepared? Memes post organized and coordinated. POTUS may retweet one or more. Ready for launch. Show the world the truth. Now, this hinged off the Laura Logan's interview with Gary Bernstein, which talked about the stolen elections of 2020. And ever since Flynn did this post, what has Trump been doing? He's been posting Patriots right and left. The White House has been posting Patriots. Now, I find this critically important because number one, and memes. Critically important, number one, because it's showing that, in my perspective, there is communication between General Flynn and real Donald Trump through the boards as proxy. I think that is paramount to understand, because Flynn came on with us. We did this interview last week with General Flynn, bombshell interview, if you haven't seen it, with myself and Alpha. But when you talk to him, it doesn't seem like there's any coordination, there's any planning with Trump, that this is all shooting from your hip. And he even started the interview with, like, there is no plan. And I kind of wanted to go over that part. So what we're going to do is Alpha's going to go through the ads, and then we're going to come in and we're going to talk about the plan of what we believe and understand the plan to be, how it's what we're think is organized the plan, what many Anons believe the plan is because of other people out there who tell you this is the plan. we're going to lay it out for you and kind of start there and then work into the show.
I like that. I like that a lot. Do us a solid, folks. While you're here, no matter what platform you're watching on, hit the thumb, hit the heart, leave a like, and more than anything, share, share, share. Let's get the audience in here. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest Made in America sale ever. We just put huge discounts on products made right here in the USA. MyPillow bed pillows, body pillows, go anywhere pillows, bolster pillows, all made with my patented adjustable fill. Mattresses, mattress toppers, mattress pads, adjustable bed frames, mattress foundations, and so much more. All made right here in the USA. And now we're expanding our USA products beyond just quality sleep. Like the cross I wear every day, now available in both men's and women's. We even have USA-made socks. And are you tired of being tired? Try our new health beverage, Rev 7. Or how about my coffee? The greatest coffee ever. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get deep discounts on all these products. Plus, for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
And we're back, folks. All the links to those sponsors, partners, and affiliates will be down in the description on Rumble. All right, Josh, hit us with it.
Well, General Flynn, he's coming from a general's perspective, right? And when he says that there's no plan, I think what he's indicating is that the plan that many people in the Q community believe or the Anon community believe is not what the freaking plan is.
Well, let me interrupt you just real quick, because you said something and my brain caught it, and I want us to elaborate on there. He's a general. He's a military general. So he's commanding a ton of troops on his battlefield mindset. And so when a general goes to his upper ranking officers, to either lead the brigade or lead the battalion, Josh, does the general go in there and tell the brigade leaders, the battalion leaders, hey, this is the mission, and this is what I want to tell this is what I need you to tell your guys to do, and this is how I need them to accomplish it? Or does he say, hey, this is the mission, and this is our objective, and then those officers under him would do what?
Carry out the mission to the objective.
They're the ones. A general's not going to micromanage.
That's right.
And so if this is the digital battlefield and he's a general and he puts out a mission, then you start to see how that starts to break down through the chain of command in this digital information warfare.
Right.
So I want people to think about that.
And you're spot on correct with what you're saying, because when we think of the plan, like there's a certain laid out plan, we know their playbook. Yeah, we know their playbook, but guess what? They are going through their playbook on point. And in some points, they're winning. And we need people to understand this. So there are ideas of how to go about this, how to fight this insurgency within our country. But the ideal that we have to keep in mind is the objectives. The objectives is a multipolar world. The objective is a free America. An objective is to disembark from this old, corrupt, evil system that has enslaved humanity and the American people for a long time, to get the branches of control out of our government. That's corporatism, that's globalists, etc. Those are the objectives. And the question is how do you go about doing that? Well, you mentioned something there was really important. The battlefield is a digital battlefield. He is a general of digital soldiers. And when he comes out there and says that there is no plan, what he's telling you is you got to listen to his next words, because after that, he went on talking about We need to get Donald Trump to do this. We need to get Donald Trump to do this. We need Donald Trump to do this. That's the general laying out our objectives, our mission as people. What he's telling you is simply what the plan is. You are the plan. This country does not move forward unless the American people stand up and take back their government. What I mean by that is if you go back to Donald Trump's 2016 acceptance speech at the RNC, and he stands up, we are taking back the power and control from the corrupt elite and giving it back to the American people. But see, that's the thing. 2016, 2020, the American people were sitting with their feet up, eating popcorn, expecting Trump and his team and everybody else to do all the hard work. But that's not how it works. We're not Americans once every 4 years or once every 2 years or in a congressional election. We're Americans every day. And I've talked about this ad infinitum, that we can go out there and we can cancel Budweiser when they have Dylan Mulvaney on there dressed as a woman pretending to be a woman. We can cancel them for months and give them billions of dollars of lost revenue. We can go out there and we can cancel Target when they're promoting satanic apparel and LGBTQ apparel. We can go out there and get the attention of Donald Trump to put a Truth Social post out there to tell Cracker Barrel, demand Cracker Barrel revert all their stores back to their old glory. And guess what? They all did it. They all complied with the demands of the American people because unified in our voice, we're unstoppable. We now need to take that same unified voice and we have to demand from Congress, demand from Senate, demand from President Trump the America that we want. And we have to do that on a daily basis because that is our duty as citizens of this country, as American patriots. That is the plan. The plan is for us to come about in a unified voice and to cancel politicians that we don't want around, to cancel people in the Trump administration that we're perceiving as infiltrators or gatekeepers, people that are keeping intelligence or information from President Trump that he might not notice or see. That is our duty as the American citizenry. This is what General Flynn's talking about, is that the plan is you. It goes back to the Keystone. On the boards, if you go and look up Keystone, you're going to find multiple different posts about it. But there's one specific post. It says, Key, POTUS, no such agency, military intelligence. Stone, the American people. We are the American people. I just talked about this in my show. Think about this. It was the militias, the citizens of the country that rose up and aligned around General Washington to defeat the British and King George. It was the armies and the militias of the North and throughout the country that rose up and aligned with President Lincoln to defeat the South.
And on that, when they tried to fight the British, the way the British did wars, they got their asses kicked. The moment they instituted irregular warfare,
that's right.
The British shifted. Well, let me, in this pause, let me just add something too, because I saw that there were some people, and maybe we failed to kind of provide the clarification or deliver the message last or on Sunday, that are, well, who is General Flynn to tell Trump what to do? Who are you guys to tell Trump what to do? If that's what you're hearing, you're not paying attention. This isn't General Flynn's concept. No. This isn't our concept. This is President Trump's concept. The demands, what General Flynn is saying, we need to tell this to President Trump, is because this is the expectation President Trump has. President Trump is waiting for you to make these demands, because that's what what President Trump wants is for us to push the court of public opinion where he needs it. That's the demand. And then he gets to facilitate what he wants to do. And it doesn't look like Trump's being a tyrannical king. You see it all over social media and mainstream media and mainstream news right now. What he's doing in Venezuela, this is what a king does. This is what a king does. And that's the narrative they always want to do, was he's a king. And that's why the General Flynn is tasking us with this mission. That's why we're trying to explain this mission, because ultimately This is what the president wants. I'll give it back to you, Josh. And shout out to we got Michael Toolmaker with 10 subscriptions.
Awesome, brother. Appreciate it. So this comes about with civic pressure. And I wrote a post on my X about this, about the MAGA dilemma. The pattern keeps repeating. People react to political decisions without recognizing the deeper structure behind them. This goes to two fundamental broad powers in the United States. You have the lobby and you have the American people. The lobby is a coalition of multinational corporations, foreign interests, institutional networks, financial powers, and ideological pressure blocks. They operate with money, influence, leverage, and access. You have the people, a vast majority of Americans whose influence comes from participation, the only force powerful enough to counter institutional drift. For 60 plus years, one of these groups has exerted pressure relentlessly. The other has spoken loudly at moments, but rarely with sustained, unified strategic force. This is why people often find themselves angry at individual political figures for decisions they disagree with, yet the broader system remains unchanged. The Epstein files is a prime example of this. Think about the civic pressure that was brought on to the Trump administration about the Epstein files. And what happened? You got a bill that came out there. And then after the bill came out there, all that civic pressure stopped. Why? Why didn't we go out there and continue that civic pressure and say, no redactions? We don't want redactions. We don't give a shit about what you're protected for national security. Release it. Because guess what? If we did that, we'd get everything. And by the way, we know that this was an operation ran by Trump, that Trump used KFOBI with Elon Musk and Marjorie and Massey and all these people to bring about this sentiment that Elon Musk set the seed. Trump is in the Epstein files. The left is like, oh my God, release the Epstein files. We called this shit back then. And what happened? It got released. And Trump's like downplaying it, like, oh, it's a nothing burger. It's a Democrat hoax. He wasn't wrong. But what he was doing is he was playing the devil's advocate to get you, the American people, to see where your passions truly lay and if you would rise to the occasion. And we did. Although I think that we took our foot off the gas pedal a little too early on it. But at the same point is if we want Susie Wiles removed as chief of staff, and I know that everybody gave her a great applause today at the cabinet meeting, fuck her. She needs to be kicked out. She needs to be fired. John Ratcliffe, as General Flynn was saying, has done zero at the CIA to fix anything at the CIA, right? These people need to go. And here's the thing, is the only way that the amount of civic pressure is going to get them removed is if we apply the pressure, is if these large audiences that we all have go out there and we begin to communicate, we begin to strategize, and we go out there and do this. You know, the Democrats have mastered social organization, collective messaging, unified demands, and coordinated action and narrative pressure. The Republicans, we haven't. We're fragmented, passionate but decentralized, loud but not structurally aligned. And here's the thing, is if you go back on to the squawk box of America X, what you're going to find is that there are deliberate psychological warfare campaigns meant to do exactly that, to fragment you, to fragment MAGA, to fragment Anons.
And let me add some sauce to that, because you're 100% right on that. And for those that don't understand this, you know, this particular PSYOP, you know, to turn it into this PSYOP, why is it that the MAGA, the Republican, the conservative side is fragmented, but if we know it's an establishment, why isn't the other side fragmented? And the reason being is here. It's actually quite simple. The points that they try to pass on the left are absolutely so insane that if they were fragmented like us, they would fall apart and the Conservative Party would have total control 100% of the time. So because their messaging over there is so insane, it has to be a unified message so everybody's together. The deep state, the establishment, understands that the conservative side, the messaging on this side is a lot of what needs to happen. So if there's unity in that message, they'll lose control by that message actually following through. So what they do is they fragment the Republican side, the conservative side. So this way the messaging there is there, but everybody's trying to push their guy's bad, this guy's good, this or here, that it never goes anywhere. And this allows the establishment to maintain control of what they want.
Spot on. And so what we are seeing right now is a call to voice. I want to say a call to arms, but it's a call to voices. It's a call to voices to exert our civic pressure, to demand from the Trump administration what we, the American people, want. I honestly believe this is what they're waiting for. I think that this is the reason why the trigger has not been pulled on the majority of the things out there, is because President Trump is waiting for the American people to say, this is what we want. This is what we elected you to do. Do it. Congress.
It is a fluid operation, completely dependent upon the involvement of us.
And that's what it means. You are the plan. And when General Flynn says there is no plan, he means that we are divided. We are arguing with each other. We're falling for psyops and psyacs, that we are falling for the scams that once unified us. And that's what the Q operation was. The Q operation, people, this was a psychological warfare operation directed at American patriots, Christians, conspiracy theorists, Second Amendment preppers, that woke them up, that taught them the Socratic method of following breadcrumbs. But the whole point was to take back over the idea of information, to control the information domain within the warfare battlefield. Okay.
And a unified message and goal is so powerful. I'll share an anecdotal experience, but it's something that everybody got to witness, depending on what your age is. When the war started in Iraq, March 18th/19th, 2003, they told us, we crossed the line of departure, and boom, the war is on. Within, I want to say, in less than 4 or 5 days, the messaging that got to us Marines, and I'm sure it got to the soldiers and everybody else that was out there too, is, hey, since you guys are the first wave, they told us that the second we get to Baghdad, you guys are all going home. So we're just like, hell yeah, we want out of this shithole. And so I think it was under 21 days. It might have been, it was fast that we got there. And so they're like, well, hold on, everybody, pump your brakes. We got here a little too fast. So there's some, there's other missions now that are, be behind us. That concept exists in the digital battlefield. Mm-hmm. And you gave prime examples of that, as you went into the beginning of your monologue. And that's what people have to understand here, because the infiltration is real. And this is what's so important. I'll give it right back to you. Just, I want to spot check these ideas as you give them to me. If there was no plan and Q wasn't real, why do they all attack it with such ferociousness, relentlessness, all day, every day, in every language, on every platform, mainstream media, alt media, citizen journalists? Everybody attacks it viciously because they understand that a unified message in this group of people eradicates the deep state. It gives Trump everything he needs. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Josh.
Well, you're spot on. I mean, Congress literally had deliberations and forced 8chan and 4chan off the air. I mean, guys, it's as real as ever could be. And I mean, look at Trump. He's posting Q+, Q memes. You have this backdoor communication between Flynn and Trump, which means that's telling you that, hey, we're past trust the plan. We're past this whole idea that, hey, look, let the Trump administration go out there and take out and dismantle the deep state. They've done that. Now it's time for us to go out there and finish the job. Now it's our part of the plan. And I think that's a good place to kind of go into the next part, because what we saw with the Seditious Six was an undermining of that moral fabric of what makes us American. There's quite a few different ideas that come about with this. Did you see Alexander Vindman's post today?
It's not ringing a bell.
Okay. So for anybody out there, Alexander Vindman is the whistleblower. So he was the whistleblower in the second impeachment of Donald Trump, the perfect phone call. So what you had Eric Ciccamorella, Alexander Vidman that were on the call and through the National Security Council. They whistle blew through Adam Schiff, which Adam Schiff is the one that did all the paperwork for them. He was on the Gang of Eight at the time, and then leaked that information to the media. And then what happened? The Trump administration put the transcript of the call out there and basically ruined their whole story, but they still went through the impeachment anyways. Alexander Vidman is a retired lieutenant colonel in the Army. Now, why does that matter? It matters because of what he posted today. And I'm gonna bring this up.
And I'm looking for a post because you said something right now, and I want to. It's perfect. You almost would think it was scripted.
So Alexander Vidman said today, he said it is totally okay to disobey the President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief if he's issuing illegal orders. In fact, it is your duty to disobey, and failure to do so will have you prosecuted. Clearly, patently illegal orders issued by President Trump include shooting peaceful protesters in the leg and murdering civilians in boats. Number one, nobody was shot in the leg. That was something that Milley said, and another lefty confirmed, but was actually rejected by other people in the Trump administration that was never actually said. I mean, then murdering civilians in boats. Well, they're not civilians. Under the law of war, under the understanding of the laws of armed conflict, these people are not civilians. Trump, through executive order, declared them foreign terrorist organizations. Through the 2001 AUMF, authorized use of military force approved by Congress, through the War Powers Act, through Article 2, Section 2 of the United States Constitution, as Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump has full power and authority to do exactly what he's doing. So Alexander Vidman says this, okay? I replied to him. I'm going to read you my reply because this is what I've been wanting to say for a long time. I'm surprised about the gross incompetence of your statements, Lieutenant Colonel retired Vidman. Maybe Secretary of War should recall you back to active duty and begin an investigation over your comments, which seems to align with Captain retired Mark Kelly in direct violation of 18 U.S.C. 2387, activities affecting armed forces generally, and UCMJ articles 88, 92, 94, 133, and 134. Let me correct you. Your assessment overlooks something fundamental about how the U.S. military functions. Orders from the president don't go straight to an E4 or platoon commander. There's a long chain of legal and operational review before anything reaches the tactical level. When the commander-in-chief issues an order, it moves through the National Security Council and the White House Council, Secretary of War, the Department of War General Counsel, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, operational and legal review teams, combatant command lawyers and judge advocates, service level commands, and staff attorneys. By the time that order reaches a lieutenant, a captain, an NCO on the ground, it has been vetted by dozens of military and civilian legal authorities whose explicit job is to prevent unlawful orders from being transmitted. To publicly encourage junior service members to disobey the president after an order has passed that entire legal chain of command is not protecting a republic. It is undermining the chain of command, eroding discipline, and creating dangerous hesitation in life or death situations. This isn't about politics. This is about the basic mechanics that prevent the U.S. military from fracturing. If you bypass the chain of command and tell enlisted or junior officers to personally reinterpret, second guess, or refuse orders that have already been cleared at the highest levels, you create a national security threat, not a safeguard. That's why your statement is not just wrong, it's reckless and illegal. I hope that investigations is immediately opened into your post below, and I tag Real Donald Trump, General Flynn, and Pam Bondi in this. Now, do I think anything will come out of it for Vindom? I hope so, because he can be recalled back to active duty, just like Mark Kelly. He can be held accountable by the UCMJ and by 18 U.S.C. 2357. So here's the thing. They are not talking to generals and admirals. They're not talking to, the people in the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They are talking to regular enlisted junior service members and junior officers, telling them you can disobey. If Trump tells you to deploy to Venezuela, you can disobey that order. That is gross incompetence and negligence, and these people need to be prosecuted.
100%. That one got by me. I didn't even think about that, and that's such a simple understanding that you would think that they should know.
Yeah,
that who you're telling them to disobey orders from their superiors, and like you said, like you outlined, that's already gone through an entire filtration process. Shout out to Boom Diggity, gifted 20 freaking subscriptions.
Jeez.
Yeah, Jesus, right on. I did find that post to what you said right now. Let me bring it up on the screen so you can see it, and I'll give it right back to you because I think what you're saying is so important. And right here, this post 3969, and I'm trying to remember why this came on my radar today. So bear with me, folks, as my brain catches up with me. But in this post that has the post within it, it's dated April 15, 2020, and it says Q proof. And it has an article, the Gateway Pundit, huge, via John Solomon. Oh, now I remember. Durham has subpoenaed and called in witnesses before a DC grand jury. Now, all that will be into something maybe later on the show if we have a chance to get to it. And it says, proofs are important, Q. But then it moves here. And it says right here, I want to highlight this so we can all see. We are far beyond the need for proofs. We're not trying to prove the board is real anymore.
Nope.
We're not trying to prove Q is real anymore. And what does the post say here? We're beyond that. So if we're beyond that and they're still coming to these things, then that means they're not looking for us to prove that Q is real. That means that there's something else. And that's the message that needs to be understood. What is this new communication? What is this new direction? And so when you were saying, that, hey, Trump, Flynn's doing this and Trump and they're communicating with the boards and they're using us, to help be kind of like, the fiber optic lines for that communication, then we also have to understand, well, if we're not proving Q anymore and they're still using proofs, then what is the purpose? And I think that is super important for people to understand right now, that we're beyond just doing deltas. That's an important part of the formula, but it's to get us to recognize or do something else. And this is the maturity we have to do as a community. What is this new phase in the mission? And I think how fast we figure that out and how fast we deploy what these communications are is going to dictate the speed or smoothness of how this operation continues.
Now, Sunday, you said that there was something you wanted to talk about tonight. And I have a feeling that this is the perfect segue into
it. Indeed it is. So here's where we'll go. And I'm going to try to summarize a very long phone call with my best bud, Toby. And I'll call this.
I'm not your best bud.
My local best bud, and so I'll call this the Toby decode, right? Or the Toby theory, TT. He and for those that didn't see Q After Hours, this is kind of how the conversation started, and it's important. And of course, me being alpha, I made fun of him at the beginning of that conversation because that's what best buds do. He said, "Hey man, what's up with Trump?" And I forget what it was. And I told him, bro, so normie. Like you're so normie. You're beyond that. You understand this. He's like, no, I know. But all my friends, my in real life contacts, this is how they see it. And he's not wrong. Mm-hmm. He's not wrong about that. And so this is what I said. This is my opinion. I mean, I think I'm pretty close to being very accurate on this. But this is a fluid operation, so I'm willing to adjust this as needed. And I'm sure I'll get a phone call if I'm off the marker on this one. And I'd love to bounce this off of you, Josh, and the audience. Because I don't know if this is going to seem controversial. And I really thought over the last few days
on how to be controversial.
I'm not worried about the controversial part. I think Jerome proved that part. It's about, I don't want the message to be received wrong. That's kind of what I'm here. So if you're like, Alpha, you're moving even slower. It is Marine brain. Here's what I mean by that. When we say that there is a plan, Who are we talking to? Me and Josh. We're talking to you, the digital soldiers, the advanced anons, the frogs, right? The cat community. Because you guys you're the advanced warriors. You've been studying the drops. You're recognizing these things. You understand that, there's multiple levels of this chessboard operation that's in play. You understand that there's good people who are going to be bad and bad people are going to be good. Like you understand the complexity of that. Now, you have the vast majority of the population, because the vast majority of the population is not you guys. The vast majority of the population is relying on MSNBC and The View and Fox, right? They're relying on that. So when Trump communicates, when he delivers a message, there's multiple targets, right? If you guys have studied, the fifth generation warfare book, you understand targeted groups, right? In that message, whatever the headline is, whatever his words are, he's targeting different people. And so when he comes out and he pushes somebody like Lindsey Graham, why is he doing that? Right? We see it that way, but the audience sees it a certain way. And so to bring it back to what what Josh was explaining in my interjections on the court of public opinion. Well, in one breath, this is where it's going to be like, well, you're going against what you're saying. In one breath, we're saying that there is a plan that you're a part of, but there's also the understanding, well, if there's white hats and they're in control, then why the level of concern if we don't do our part? And this is what I'm saying. And this part, I think part of the community is not going to like this part. And I could be wrong on this part. I don't think I am, though. And I'll explain why if you remind me, Josh. We all want full vindication at the end of this. We all want to see these were the good people. These were the bad people. This was a psychological operation. That was a psychological operation. This person's really not dead. This person's a witness protection program. We want the dates, right? But I want to remind everybody, this is a military operation. This is an operation that's not only to secure the sovereignty for America, but this is for all humanity against the deep state. And until our creator shows up, evil's always going to exist. So at the end of this evolution, if the full transparency of the operation was given to us, then guess who else sees that? The remnants of evil, because there's always going to be remnants of evil. And if they say, oh, that's how it all happened, then they get to wait another 100 years, 200 years to rebuild more evil with an understanding exactly what our playbook was like, so that hopefully in generations of peace and prosperity and people not having to fear the deep state, that stuff falls out. And then they make their new evolution. So it's my theory that we're going to get enough at the end of this to be like, oh, something happened. There are some receipts. We're going to learn some stuff, but it might not translate like we want. And I think that there are going to be some people that are mad about that, and I go back to the conversation surrounding Al Capone. Al Capone didn't go to prison for murders and money laundering and robberies. He went for a paper crime. We don't know what this is going to look like on the other end of that. So I shared that part to make this part make more sense. This is what I told my buddy, and this is what I'll share with you guys. The reason we have to do our part is not because Trump and them don't have control. It's because we need to allow them to go through the steps of what's happening so that humanity is rescued in a way that the vast majority of the human population can digest it. Can be like, oh, they demanded this, so Trump did this. They demanded this, so the FBI and DOJ did this. And all these pieces fell into place. So at the end of this thing, it was like, okay, we got our ways to paper ballots. We got our ways to fair and transparent elections. But it came through the people demanding it for President Trump and the administration. Now, with that being said, where's the controversial part? Well, and I do believe that they do have a very high level of control of what's unfolding right here. but they can't. If they were just to deploy it and come out and just fix everything the way we want, just show up and say, hell no, this is going to go down, this is going to go down, this is how it's going to go down. Well, then at the end of that, this is what I shared with my buddy. What did we learn other than there was a savior for us? What type of mentality do you see in the generations coming behind us? That at the very end, when it got as bad as it was, there was a hero. There was a savior. The president and the military came and rescued us. And so that means 100 years from now or 200 years from now, if things get bad, there'll be another savior. That mentality gets seeded in the American population. The same way, and then this is where I'll make it make sense. Hopefully, I'm making you guys make. I'm trying to keep it. If it makes sense for me, you guys are so much smarter than me. It'll make sense for you. I'm going to land it home. I'm going to crash my blimp. Why do we have such a patriotic attitude right now? Because what's seated in our mind right now is 1775, 1776. We freed ourselves. We fought the crown. We, the people, were the answer. And so where we're at right now, because the enemy has evolved, is Trump and them are going to save us by getting us, at least optically, to look like we saved us. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the stuff that's happening behind the scenes to give us this handicap against evil is probably never going to be known because it's too dangerous to make the American people think someone came and saved them. That's too dangerous. And I think at the end of this, a lot of us are going to get just enough to tell our grandkids and grandchildren, you know, there was this secret operation that was going on, and we know it because of this, this, and this. The vast majority of society is probably going to just see it as all this stuff happened, and the American people and the patriots around the world rose up against the deep state and a unified voice, and they saved themselves.
That's right. Precipice.
So hopefully I made sense.
You made complete sense, brother. And you know, there's a few things that I want to comment on there. Number one is you're absolutely right that if we allow Trump to just come in there and save all of us and take down the deep state and the global cabal, what happens? The same thing begins to happen again the next administration or the next administration after that, because the American people, the people of the world, did not realize their true power. And all of this is about coming into understanding your true power as a human being, as a follower of Christ or whatever it is that you follow, right? Now, I want to give you an example of what Alpha said there.
Real quick, Donnie Marie B333 says, damn, it's no fun, Alpha. I know it's not. It's
not fun.
But it's
not
real.
Supposed to be fun. So I want to give people an example here. So last week we had this Gary Bernstein interview with Lara Logan, where he's talking about how he worked with Flynn and he worked with Patrick Byrne. Patrick Byrne put $80 million of his own money into this, and they uncovered how the 2020 election fraud happened, and then they stopped 2024 from being stolen. Now, many of us, when we heard this, we believe that 2024 was stopped by Patrick Byrne running a secret group of hackers who attacked the Serbian servers, which is kind of illegal. And I actually got called out because you're implicating Flynn in this illegal crime by somebody on X. And I said, no, you'll find out. Just wait. And I posted Flynn's video about it because the information had not come out yet. Well, Patrick Byrne came out the other day and told us what happened. And I want to tell you this. This is what we mean by white hat people. When we say white hats, they come in, they swoop in, and they save us. Patrick Byrne says that we got this information and Elon wouldn't touch it. He couldn't go out there and run these operations himself. And he goes, but somebody got the message in 2024 under the Biden administration, got the message over to Cyber Command. Guys, who saved the 2024 election from being stolen? Who took down the Belgrade, Serbia servers? Cyber Command. Cyber Command, 3 days before the election, did an assault level attack on the Serbian servers and melted them to their cores. I want you to put that into the processing. Donald Trump wasn't president at that time. Joe Biden was. General Hull over at Cyber Command somehow got the message, got the information that they had uncovered and said, hey, they're trying to steal our elections. He says, no, they're not. Watch this. And they authorized a direct attack on a Serbian private company. And they got authorization to do it. Not through Lloyd Austin, not through SecDef, not through the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, not through Milley, not through the president. Someone gave them authorization. And they melted those servers and stopped the steal in 2024. Now, that's a white hat operation. That's what we're talking about, is that there's coordination and collaboration with Donald Trump and the U.S. military, that he has loyalists within the United States military. Who do I think probably was the one that facilitated that? How did Flynn and Patrick Byrne and the Trump campaign get in contact with General Hull over at Cyber Command? I can tell you exactly who it was and why that guy probably retired during the Joe Biden administration. CENTCOM, General Charles Flynn. Okay? General Charles Flynn was most likely the liaison who sent this information over there, said this is a direct threat. Generals came together. They said, yep, this is a direct threat. Run the operation. And what did we see right at the end of Joe Biden's administration, right before Trump comes in? General Flynn, Charles Flynn, retires. I don't think he retired probably on his own. He probably got pushed out because of making that call. That's just my thought. That's my assessment. I don't know. But what I'm telling you is that there's good people out there. Those good people in military and in government and in politics, we call them white hats. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's a continuous coordinated plan operating through all of them to produce the results that we see. Because if that was the case, we go to exactly back what Alpha said, that we don't need a savior. We have to save ourselves. God intended us to save ourselves. God intended us to stand up for what we believe in, to use our voices, to rise up in a unified accord and say, hey, I don't want that. I don't want digital IDs. I don't want this shit. What are you doing? Well, guess what? We stood up in a common accord and we said, hey, we don't want CBDCs. Guess what? We don't got CBDCs. You have privatized CBDCs. But you got to stand up and you got to utilize your momentum in the commercial markets with your dollars to ensure that they don't go tyrannical. And I think that that's a great safe hold against that. But when we start to look at what's happening right now, this is the stage of the plan, quote unquote, where we, the people, get that power back. And the question is are the American people ready for it? Are they willing to accept it? Are they willing to stand up to the duty? Because it's unlike anything that this country has seen in well over 100 years. Because after 1929 and the stock market collapse and moved into the Great Depression, that power of the American people was truly lost. And now we are given the opportunity to take it back. And see, this is the mission parameters that was given to us, is put this message out there, put this word out there. It wasn't direct. It was very indirect, but we received the message. We understand the message. And so we're using these platforms to tell everybody, let's come up with some plans, some strategies. Let's figure this out. Let's figure out how to get millions upon millions of people to cancel certain people in the administration, to cancel congressmen and senators, and get the people in there that we want, that we know are going to do the hard work to make America great again.
And Trump gives us he recruits for us at the times that we start to grow and we're ready for that, right? It's like a butter bar. When they get their training, they get so many troops. And as they rise in rank, they're going to command more people. While our movement, Trump does that for us. When he sees, okay, they're getting it, they're doing stuff, now I need to grow their community, he'll do stuff that's going to get the eyes and ears of people that normally wouldn't look towards MAGA or Republicans or conservatives and be like, hey, hold on, I kind of like that. Today was a prime example. Mm-hmm. Probably not going to have income tax very much longer. Guess what? People that have been calling him Cheeto Man said, wait, what'd he say? Hold on. He's saying, I ain't going to pay taxes no more. He's saying he's going to get rid of federal taxes. Let me listen to these crazy MAGA people here. Maybe I'm ready.
Dude, this is such a good point because number one is Donald Trump came out. I got the video right here. Okay. for people who want to understand what Trump is saying here. That's one thing. Hold on, it's right here. Pretty sure this is it. Yep. Okay. I want you to listen to what he says, because here's the thing. This is our first opportunity to do exactly what I'm talking about. Pull this up. Listen to Trump real quick.
And I believe that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay, because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous, that you're not going to have income tax to pay. Whether you get rid of it or just keep it around for fun or have it really low, much lower than it is now, but you won't be paying income tax. We've slashed $1 trillion.
Okay, I want you to listen to one specific part.
Whether you get rid of it or just keep it around to pay.
What does he say there? He doesn't say, if I get rid of it. He says what?
Whether you
get rid of it or just keep it around.
Whether you get rid of it. He's telling you right now, hey, we have the opportunity to eliminate the income tax, probably the property tax, and many other taxes, because we have the alternative model in place. Where's the people? Everybody, I want you calling your congressmen, calling your senators. I want you on social media. I want this trending. I want it demanding that this happen now.
Everybody should be on social media, tagging SCOTUS, hashtag SCOTUS. You better not try to remove tariffs away from President Trump.
That's right.
It's that voice. That's us taking the horn and saying, don't do it. He's doing this for us. You know, we had 33 billion in a month. In a month.
Oh, did you remember how he got 10% of Intel? Remember he got 10% of Intel, the company. Remember Intel, he's like, hey, their CEO needs to be deported. Let's get rid of him. And then he met with Intel and he's like, oh, he's a great guy. They just gave me 10% of the company, gave it to the American people. Do you know how much money that 10% investment made in 3 months? Let me pull this up. This is stellar. But this is what Trump is trying to tell you right here, is that there's alternative solutions that we have not been privy to, that now we have the advantage to get into if we rise up to the occasion and demand it. Listen to this.
As I sit here today, I can't be more proud of how you did it, sir. You've created the greatest cabinet. It is a joy to be at this table.
You know, one thing we will mention, so they came to see me from Intel and they had a problem. I said, look, we'll fix your problem, but I think the United States is entitled to 10% of your company. And the chairman looked at me and he goes, you have a deal. Tell him, how much money have we made since I made that deal?
It's only 40 billion.
40 billion. We made $40 billion. That was, what, 3 months ago. Does anybody write about it? Nobody writes about it. That's okay.
So I want you to see that 10% of Intel just generated $40 billion worth of revenue for the United States of America. Now, eventually that'll be put into the Sovereign Wealth Fund. That'll be obviously after the government's funded and everything's all paid off. Yeah, people will get a check. But this is what he's saying. We're setting up the system of success for the American people. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to go out there and demand that this old system goes away, that we remove the central banking system, the Federal Reserve, we remove taxation, income taxes, property tax? You, us, we are the ones that have to demand this. And this is what they're waiting for. Because if we don't, you remember, go back to my piece I wrote, The MAGA Dilemma. The lobby will step in and apply their pressure over no civic pressure. And they will win. They will always win.
You know, this
unless we stand up.
This leads to one of my theories that I have, Josh, is, you know, and I've been saying this for a couple of years now. We know during the Biden's administration, we had a lot of people that came into these virtual town halls, these X town halls with the, you know, pitchforks and torches. We need to take up arms. We need a revolt, you know? And I kept telling everybody, you lose 100% of the time if you try to do a kinetic revolution in an information psychological warfare. Yep. You lose 100% of the time. Well, every, you know, America accounts for, you know, almost half of all the guns. They know that. You don't win that way because they understand, they have mapped out. Let me tell you guys why they want us to respond kinetically. Because they have mapped out every stage of what that looks like, where the hot spots are, where the states would be, who would be the leaders in that revolution. They have it all mapped out, and they're waiting for it because they know how to systematically pull it apart. Because I said this when we interviewed General Flynn, morale is a weapon. And if they destroy the morale in a revolution that Americans see as the last chance to save humanity, and they make us think that that doesn't work, you've defeated humanity. The only thing we have left is our creator, is God. Now,
Okay.
so with that, this is where I'm going with it, Josh. There's a race here between the white hats and the black hats. And this race is who's going to force their side to respond kinetically. Because if the white hats force the black hats, the deep state, to do what I just outlined they want for us to do, the whole world sees. They expose themselves. They expose the entities at the surface level. Because remember, the white hats know. They know the roster. They need the world to see. And I truly think right now that there's a race, Josh, to who's going to force the other side to respond that way. And when I say respond that way, what I'm talking about is for the black hats, the deep state, whatever you want to call them, to say, nope, that's it. It's going too crazy. We need to go full retard, full metal jacket here. And the second they do that, they lost.
Yep,
It's
agreed. 100%. I want to address some of the comments I saw coming in. A lot of people, when we were talking about ending federal taxes and income taxes, they're like, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. No tax, hopium, bullshit. Then another person said, Nasara bullshit. Let me comment on this real quick. Have you not listened to anything we just said? Quite literally. Oh, that's bullshit. It's just hopium. It's only bullshit and hopium if you stand by and just call it bullshit and hopium and believe that and do absolutely nothing about it. If we do exactly what we're talking about, it becomes something. Now, Nasara, Jessara, get the fuck out of here with it. That is garbage stuff. And that's not what we're talking about. We've laid it out on this show, the economic system that is being built right now, and it's nothing like Nasara Jessara, which is communism, just re-wrapped up, redistribution of wealth. There is no wealth in fiat currencies. There's no wealth in a capital market that has nothing but 85% margin trades, derivatives trades that flow through it, that basically prop it up and keep it going. Why did the Federal Reserve inject $18 billion into the capital markets yesterday? Why? Because it's filled with nothing more than credit, fake money. There's a liquidity crisis. There is no wealth to redistribute with this Nasara Jessara bullshit. Okay, the system that Trump and Lutnick and Bessent are actually creating is meaningful. It's real. It's very, very freaking thoughtful on how it operates. And the idea is basically this: is that there's a sovereign wealth fund, there's a strategic Bitcoin reserve, a crypto reserve that's part of that sovereign wealth fund, and that the country makes money from all of its resources, from all the businesses and patents, and from all of the different tariffs that are coming in. It makes money. That money funds the government and it funds the people, especially when people start being displaced by technology. I've laid this out over and over and over again. If you want to check that out, I'm not going to go any more deeper into this, but don't give me that Jessara. Nothing I said was Nasara Jessara. Nothing I said was hopium. Donald Trump is telling you right now that we can get rid of the income tax, but it's up to you. You got to go out there. We got to start demanding it.
And he's laid out the economic plan to accomplish it. And
That's right.
we're seeing it. Shout out to Dano J, gifted 5 subscriptions over there on Badlands Media. So thank you for that. And I don't think I missed any other subscription ones. So I think we nailed that point. I think the vast majority of the people see where we're going with it. I just found the Nasara thing.
Oh God, I can't stand Nasara Jessara.
Especially because we've made fun of it. We've made people mad at us for making fun of it. I want to shift this over to a post that Trump did on Truth Social this morning. You've talked about it. I talked about it. I want to bring this. I want to read a post that I did to kind of get us going in this conversation, and then I'll turn it over to you, Josh.
Sure.
So let me forward real quick to the post he did. Shout out Spiritual Street Fighter 17. She, I believe it's a she, based off the logo, has been getting retruth by Trump like religiously. It's been a beautiful thing to see. But she put out this post, the truth post from Donald Trump, Donald J. Trump. It says here, let me make it bigger so you guys can see it. Great news. Dallas County, Texas, just went to all paper ballots. Many others are following suit, more accurate, totally secure with watermark paper, faster, and only 9% of the cost. All Republican governors should mandatorily do this. Save money and freedom. Lead the Democrats out of their corrupt ways. President DJT, and you can see that was today at 5:44 a.m. Eastern time. And so let me get out of that image. And now I'm going to read my post, and then you guys give me your feedback. So here we go, Josh.
Zoom in on that. That's hard to see.
Oh, I'm doing to you what I always.
There you go. Oh, perfect. There you go.
All right, here we go. This morning, the president got the attention of digital soldiers with a Q in the misspelling. Misspellings matter. In, quote, Q Dallas on Truth Social post at 5:44 a.m. Eastern. He would then delete this post 2 hours and 7 minutes later, 127 minutes. He would repost the same post without the Q. So referencing the first timestamp, this is the 5:44 one. And it takes us to a group photo of 7 people. So let me scroll down right here to show you guys the photo in question. This comes from post 544, January 18th, 2018. And I want to give you guys some insights on this photo. A group photo of 7 people. The photo was taken in 2001 in Edinburgh, Scotland, at the biennial, if I said that right. Biannual, thank you. Carnegie Medal of Philanthropy Awards ceremony. The photographer of the image was Nike Zamachmanoglu.
You did a good job with that one.
Zamachmanoglu. Nike Z. The individuals pictured were amongst those present to receive the Carnegie Medal of Philanthropy for their contributions to society. Top row, from left to right. Robert Edward Turner III, also we know him as Ted Turner, William Henry Gates II, Bill Gates Sr., George Soros, Open Society Foundations, and David Rockefeller, Council on Foreign Relations. The bottom row, Irene Diamond, Hollywood talent scout, editor at Warner Brothers, and tied to the film Casablanca. That's an interesting dive into her if you go and look that a little bit deeper. Lenore Cohn Annenberg, Chief of Protocol of the United States from 81 to 82, married to Walter Annenberg, who was the ambassador to the UK. Roberta Brooke Astor, a lot of people know her as Brooke Astor, daughter of the 16th Commandant of the Marine Corps, married into the Astor family. Her son, Anthony Dryden, Tony Kuser, is a CIA officer and consultant to the NSA, or was. I don't think he might not be alive anymore. So referencing the 127 minutes, Q Post 127 is dated November 7th, 2017. The graphic is your key. Let's pause and say hello to the rogue intelligence agencies currently monitoring these threads. Was the money worth it? Titanic. Q. And shout out to, I think it was somebody on either Q After Hours or DEFCON last week that brought up a question about the Titanic. And at the time, there wasn't a whole lot of relevance where we can make it relevant, but that's kind of interesting. Referencing the Q misspelling. And I believe there was about, I think, 11 or 12 posts that came up, but this was the only one that I thought maybe there's a there. And this was post 335, dated December 12th of 2017. And that's where I queued off on that. This is the most upcoming thing given the date here. And it says timestamp Q, post 03 against POTUS tweet at 13:10, no coincidences Q. So I said possibly confirming the timestamp marker of the original truth post, the Soros group picture, or it could be signaling December 3rd, which I meant December 12th. Reminder, no coincidences. We are far. I was looking for it earlier, and there's where it was. We're far beyond the need for proofs. So what message is being sent? And so let me show these. There's that post. There's 127. and there's 335 for you guys all to see. And so with that, I'll turn it over to you, Josh. Let me know if you want me to bring anything up.
Well, so number one, the first thing that stands out, and I want people to see this correlation, and I can bring it up on my side. So this is kind of interesting, and I know you probably didn't catch this, Alpha, but that's okay. All right. So going here, number one is the timestamp, right? So Q post 544, that goes into the 7 people. One of them is Roberta Brooke Astor, right?
Right.
Now, you said that he went and deleted the queue and made another post that was 127 minutes, correct?
Correct.
Then this comes in and says the graphic is your key. Let's pause and say hello to the rogue intelligence agencies currently monitoring these threats. I find that really interesting because you have Ted Turner, you have Gates, you have Soros, Rockefeller. These are rogue intelligence operations that operate through basically billionaire circuits. This is the deep state intelligence apparatus, okay? Then it says this, was the money worth it? Titanic. Now, we've talked about this for the Titanic. 2 of the most famous people that died on the Titanic were the ones in opposition against the Federal Reserve. This was Guggenheim and John Jacob Astor. Now, what's interesting about that,
I did not make the connection with Astor on that.
But so John Jacob Astor died on the Titanic.
You said there was going to be Wells. You said there was.
Now, here's the interesting thing is, was the money worth it? And the reason I look at that is because when John Jacob Astor's wife was one of the ones who saved, and in her belly was Jack, the jewel of the ocean. You know, the movie Titanic, Jack. She had Jack in her belly. But what do? They killed Jack at the end. Jack didn't die, but Jack actually was kicked out of the family. So when his wife came back, they looked at it as basically a fake marriage, and that they never accepted Jack Jr. as a member of the Astor family. They just gave him a trust fund and threw them in New York City to live, and they were never part of the actual Astor family. In other words, his family sold him out. Was the money worth it?
Titanic. Damn, bro.
I think that's interesting. That's pretty crazy.
That is pretty wild. You said it was good. You said Josh had no idea I was going to bring that one up. I mean, I'm pretty sure we had, without talking about it, he knew we'd be talking about that post that Trump did today because it's so freaking relevant. But wow, I didn't make that connection. That is just.
Yeah, but I mean, so that is the Federal Reserve System. That is the 16th Amendment, the federal income tax. That is, Dallas. You go into Dallas. I mean, these are the people that formulated the whole intelligence operation against Kennedy. Kennedy's anniversary for death was 10 days ago, right? So you have all of these different things that can come into contact with this. Now, what do I think Trump's message is? Well, when you look at this, number one, no coincidence, positive confirming timestamp marker of the original truth post, Soros group picture, could be signaling. I think that one of the important things here is the majority of those people in that picture are dead. And Soros is the only one really left standing that has any significance within power players. Remember, Rockefellers were removed post-Trump presidency. Bill Gates is aligned with Donald Trump now, right? Ted Turner hasn't been heard from in years. Ted Turner is one of the financiers of the Georgia Guidestones, which got destroyed a few years back, right? These other people, I mean, David Rockefeller, dead. Rockefeller family. So in other words, when we start to look at this, these people have been removed from that tree, except for one, Soros.
Let me ask you this. So the painting or the tapestry that's behind him in that photo, I used AI to figure out what it was. And then, went and then looked at some other things to see, because there's different variations of that image. And this is what it said, because I was like, I wonder if there's something to that painting, right? because they're all taking a picture in front of it. And it says the art piece in the background of the photo is the tapestry titled "The Sacrifice of." Good luck with this one, Alpha. Iphigenia. It's Iphigenia. This large 17th century work depicting a scene from Greek mythology is part of the collection at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. It was reportedly donated to the museum by Brooke Astor, one of the philanthropists pictured in the front row of the photograph. And so when I went and looked up that sacrifice, I should have kept it on there and I didn't. So let me just throw up this image so I can read it to you guys real quick on. It says the sacrifice of Iphigenia is a Greek myth where King Agamemnon is forced to sacrifice his daughter Iphigenia to the goddess of Artemis to appease her and allow the Greek fleet to sail to Troy. This sacrifice was demanded after Agamemnon angered the goddess, typically by killing one of her sacred deer. In many versions, Artemis intervenes at the last moment, saves Iphigenia, and substituted a deer in her place. So, anyways, I didn't dive too much deep into that one because I didn't have enough time today to do it. But I wanted to make everybody aware of that's what that tapestry art piece in the back is, because I found it interesting that Brooke Astor, the one in the photo, donated it to the museum in New York. And you're smiling, and every time you smile, I feel like one of those holy smokes moments is coming.
Well, there was, so Dan Scavino posted a few minutes ago, so I thought it was kind of funny, but it was a 14-second video. That's why I was kind of laughing. But when the boss says you can work for anywhere, and there's a dude on a speedboat, it's kind of funny. But so there was another breakdown that I saw earlier. And this one's kind of interesting because it goes to show that there's multiple correlations of how this can operate, right? And this was 8Truck Q, aka Mark. He was talking about this, that he went and basically Googled Q Dallas in the morning.
Real quick, I'm just interrupt you. Shout out Claire Cat 367. Agamemnon. See, that's what I need, folks. the way Claire Cat broke that down in the chat, that's what I need you guys to do for me on some of these complicated ones.
Iphigenia, it's Agamemnon. Okay.
So that hook me up. That's exactly how Claire Cat 367 did it. That's what I need from you guys. So Claire Cat 367 gets the DEFCON star tonight. Came in clutch for me.
So he said that this morning when he saw the Q Dallas, he went out there and just Googled Q Dallas. And the first thing that showed up was the Dallas Morning News with an article about Jasmine Crockett, the Soros-backed congresswoman, hinting at a Senate run. The article dropped right after Trump posted the Q Dallas post. So Q drop 544 includes a photo feature George Soros. The 9 in there, right? They talk about 9%. Projection, D's can't lose control over the black population. These false leaders are corrupt and paid off to keep the black population poor and in need. And then you have Soros-backed political action campaigns that deal specifically with Texas, Dallas, and then Soros-funded Dallas County, DA, John Crusoe, 2018 to 2020. It's just that level of coincidence that goes into that. But I mean, do I think that there's any right decode on that? I think that yours is pretty spot on. I like it.
Well, also,
but that one is kind of interesting.
Also, with the 9th, today was Trump's 9th cabinet meeting.
Oh, interesting.
So I wonder if he was teeing off something in that cabinet meeting because it was a long one. I wonder if there's something in there that correlates because I saw the second half of it. I didn't get to see the first half of it outside of clips. So I'm wondering if there's a there on that one. I'm curious to that. Well, the next one that I wanted us to talk about, this one comes from. Let me bring this up on the screen. Well, first, are we done with the Q Dallas one? I think we're solid. Okay. So shout out Drogo, Cag Drogo that did this one. And he says, let me bring his up on here, make it easier. It says, President Trump posted this. Durham's classified annex was found in burn bags. And I laugh when I see the burn bags because, we told you so. They tried to hide it and failed. We haven't yet seen the last of Durham. And I know some in the chat's going to say it's Durham, it's Durham. Listen, I get 50-50 on that one, folks. Durham was appointed in Trump's first admin on the exact same day Q started posting. And I want to let me rewind this real quick. Go full screen and let me hit play. Oops. Hold on. There we go.
One of the documents FBI officials allegedly found in the burn bag were the classified annex, or was the classified annex to former special counsel John Durham's final report, which includes the underlying intelligence that he reviewed. Why would that be so critical? To me, that's critical.
Because it likely reveals many of the government actors who instigated and corruptly spread the phony collusion narrative despite knowing it was totally untrue. So, it's the usual suspects. Was it Comey and his acolytes at the FBI, Brennan's team of CIA partisans? Was it Clapper, the Obama White House? They're all reasonable suspects based on the damning evidence revealed in just the last couple of weeks, leading to an official criminal investigation. And, in my...
Now, real quick, I want
the documents.
Who's this voice real quick that you guys are hearing? Listen to this voice. I think most people will recognize it. This one right here.
One of the documents FBI officials allegedly found in the burn bag were the classified
Sean Hannity. All right. So let me read real quick. Trump retruth this. This came from Julie Blue. Hollywood 2PT0 over there on Truth. Or is that X? Actually, I think that is on X, but he did it on Truth. But it reads, "This is huge. The classified annex from John Durham's final report." And it's exactly what Hannity revealed right there. And then on the last line, they hid it to avoid criminal prosecution. And now we have it. Now, let me pull this off the screen because I have that in a different share mode because I wanted you guys to hear the audio. Now, why I found that interesting and why I wanted to point out Hannity's name is for this reason, real quick. And Josh sees me going through all these different tabs that I have right here. Today's December 2nd. I would say possibly tomorrow, but we did say, some of these posts are plus a day, minus a day, what we're seeing with some of these deltas. But if we go to tomorrow's delta, Josh, what does that read?
Watch it at 9. I love it.
I'm very interested on what Sean Hannity might be saying Wednesday night at 9.
Tomorrow Trump is making a national announcement from the Oval Office. At very important announcement tomorrow morning. Another one.
So I only watch Fox when I'm trying to do research, but I'll tell you what, I'm probably going to be watching Sean Hannity's 9 p.m. broadcast tomorrow. At the very least, the replay, because that is just too close for coincidence. What say you? And then let me know if you want me to bring up more.
How about some more not coincidence here? So Dan Scavino just an hour or so ago posted 12/2/25 White House with a Christmas tree, and he posted at the beginning of Space Force, right?
Right.
So he posted this on X. So you have Space Force ornaments and you have the Christmas tree. Chris. Okay. 1054 timestamp. Okay. Now I'm going to bring this up, and this will make sense in a minute because there's no contextual reference unless you understand something that happened earlier. 1054 timestamp. Who is that? That's Virginia Guffrey, isn't it?
It is.
Okay. Now, don't worry about the rest. Look up Rachel Chandler and under safe. Virginia, right? Dan Scavino, Christmas tree, White House, timestamp, Virginia Guffrey, right?
I know where you're going with this, and I like it.
Okay. Let me pull up this next post. Check this out. Liz Crokin. Is First Lady Melania Trump honoring Virginia Giuffre and Jeffrey Epstein survivors in the White House Christmas decorations? First Lady Melania Trump's creative artist for her White House Christmas decorations, Herve Pierre, discussed the use of blue butterflies as a theme for this year's decoration in the Be the Best room. Here it is right there. The blue butterflies, be your best. And guess what? Virginia Giuffre, her profile picture. I don't believe in coincidences.
I don't either. As a matter of fact, tonight, following DEFCON, I'm going to be doing my show, Just Alpha, and I'm going to be diving into that video. But if you have the video up, there's something I wouldn't mind sharing on DEFCON so people could see it that I found pretty interesting.
What video?
The Melania Trump one where she shows the different things.
Yeah. Well, there's no video. Oh, the Melania video. You want the actual Melania video?
Yeah, actual Melania video.
Yep. Let me go to Melania.
If you can bring it up and just play without the sound, and then I'll tell you where to pause it. And if I remember correctly, it's fairly early, maybe towards the middle. Maggie Bundy. Yes, it'll be a live show tonight. So I'm gonna be up late and tired. Let's actually, I think this is the second video she played. It might be this one because there's two. No. It's gonna be her first video. It's the one where she's showing the tree and in the whole entire room.
Okay. Let me see here. Because this
forward that one just in case, just to make sure. Let me see. It's only 23 seconds.
Yeah, it's only 23 seconds.
Now this is concentrating on I think this is confirming what Liz Crokin put.
This one.
We are surrounded by people whose strength
No,
is all.
no, not that one. It's the one where she's showing the tree here.
May the Christmas be okay. So there's Christmas. Was it on her personal account? Maybe.
I think it was that one here.
This is the Flotus account.
Let me see. It was give me 1 second and I will grab it. Just bear with me because it's right here. It is.
Oh, it's this one. Okay, I got it. It's right here.
Yep, that's the one right there. And it's a little interesting tidbit to this video that I really liked because they focus on it. And anytime they zoom in and focus on something, it always grabs my attention. So you got a cardinal there. But that's not what I'm talking about. You got Georgia there. Should be coming up. This is the first indication of the blue and the blue butterflies. And B-Bass should be coming up. Almost there, folks. Almost there. Dominoes. So go back just a second. Well, no, I'm going to be covering that stuff later. Let's just keep going. We'll focus on the point. I'm excited.
No, now you got to show us.
So go back about 2 seconds to where it shows the dominoes. So you got dominoes, right?
Yep.
And then right after dominoes, I found this a very interesting ornament. So go ahead and let it play and pause it at the vehicle. It's a vehicle. And you got 6 little people on top of it. That looks to me like the way you would do a tactical vehicle. That ain't nothing like a family. No, that to me, I'm thinking tactical. But anyways, keep going. Here we go. All right, rewind it. That's where I wanted you to. They show it again, but here's the point.
Oh, House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Interesting. So you got Trump. Right, so you get Trump in Washington,
right?
General Washington, the president, then Trump, the first to current. AS 586, you get the plane.
Mm-hmm.
That's a warplane.
It is.
You get Trump digital,
and it's a warplane with a number on it too.
Yep. You get the digital aspect right here,
and
then when you get the castle with the flag at the top.
Made out of dominoes.
Made out of dominoes. Then you get the vehicle coming in.
Yep. To the House
and
of
the
Cards.
House of Cards. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty brilliant, bro. It's there's a lot to that video. That video itself can actually be broken down
Interesting.
into a lot. So, but 586. So there's reference the plane in
The plane.
You want to pull up post 586 and see if there's anything there that makes sense for us.
Let me see. 586. I will tell you if there is, I will pull it up. If there's not, I'm not.
All right. I'm good with that. While we're doing that, folks, do us a solid. We have how many people we got watching right now? On Rumble, we got approaching 6,500, almost 4,000 watching over there on X and YouTube. So do us a solid, folks. Hit the heart, hit the thumb. The content is free, so like, share, and subscribe, and please share. And I don't see the look on Josh's face.
There's nothing really important on that one.
Okay. Well, then there we go. And so then let me pull this off so I don't lose my place on that. And let me go on to this. So, all right. Yep, on the right screen. So then what I got for you here is this is a Delta from today. And I brought up some that I was like, I'll hit these up. The other ones I didn't think too much of, but I was wondering if these would make sense to you. So let me grab this one. And this is post 3646. It's December 2nd. And it says, Nons, why would we provide the date of the FISA release? Logical thinking, ammunition is finite.
Finite. Not relevant. That was more relevant back in December of 2019. But we have an important date coming up in 3 days.
And we're getting there.
Okay.
I got you set up. I got you teed up for that one, I promise. This one was December 2nd. This is today as well. It's 3645. It has the image waterway with the bridge. Looks like a tugboat or some type of boat that's right there. And then it reads, "Be ready, Anon's public awakening coming."
Oh,
And
I agree with that.
So do I, especially given the post that Flynn put out there. I think that one was pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
Next one we move into is from today as well. This is 3643. It says justice marker, and it's 309. And then it says justice and Q. Now, I know originally when I first saw this post back whenever it was, I was thinking of like a justice marker, right?
Okay.
But given the conversation of what I think it was yesterday, the day before, that's gone a lot of momentum behind it on Trump obliterating Biden's administration and everything he did by autopin, including the endorsement to Justice
Conjali Jackson Brown, yeah.
So if we see her removed, is that a marker?
Possibly. I mean, listen, Trump doing this, there's no legal precedent for what Trump's doing. Now, is it justified? Yes. I talked about this yesterday on my show. The one thing that we have to look at is that Biden's staff is testifying right now to the DOJ. They're getting deposed by the DOJ, and they were admitting that Biden was clearly not competent. He had no control of the White House. They're saying who was in control of the White House at the auto pen. He was unaware of all of this. There is his former chief of staff. His former chief of staff. This is like the second person in charge of the White House. Came out and testified that 92% of all the documents signed were signed by AutoPen without Biden even knowing. This is why Trump is doing this, because he's got the evidence to validate it, which means that legally, if the Supreme Court looked at this, the Supreme Court's going to uphold Donald Trump's decision, because this was not lawful orders, proclamations, and so forth given by a president.
Let me ask you this, Josh. If you're Ketanji and you just realize, oh shit, the man that appointed me ain't the man who could pull me out. And then all of a sudden, you
got a tariff case that's sitting on your desk.
Would you be more compelled to be like, I'm going to do this job the right way?
I would agree with that. Also, there's this. Is you got to remember about the amnesty that was given under the Biden administration, the naturalization and the amount of IDs and social security numbers and federal benefits that were given to illegal immigrants during that time. All of that gets reversed. So you remember in 2017, 2018, when Trump was sued by the Obama administration under DACA, when Donald Trump tried to undo all the stuff that Obama did during DACA, the Supreme Court said, nope, you can't. You can't go back there and reverse an executive order. You can only make new executive orders. Well, Trump is about to do this, and the Supreme Court's about to weigh on this again. Because this and I believe, I got to go look at this case. I believe they said that the only way that you'd be able to reverse an executive order if it was unlawful within the statute of laws, if the president didn't actually author. I got to go back and look at that decision and how that was written. But that's going to come into play right now. It's huge.
It absolutely is. I agree with you completely on that. Moving into the next one. This is 3638, December 2nd, 18 U.S. Code, Chapter 115, Treason, Sedition, Subversive Activities. Not going to read through all of those. Not going to read through the whole thing. But I did want to read.
Well, go up there real quick. Go right to the top. 18 USC. Go down to the first line of the board post. Past the image right there. 18 USC 2385, right? Advocating to overthrow the government. Now, that's interesting because the one that Mark Kelly and all of these seditious six are facing is 18 USC 2387. But 2385 actually applies to what's being discussed here.
Well, then that plays into the part that I did want to read, which was right here.
Yep.
If two or more persons conspire to commit any offense named in this section, each shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not for more than 20 years or both, and shall be ineligible for employment by the United States or any department or agency thereof for the 5 years following his conviction. And playing into the seditious six, well, obviously, you definitely meet the two, and obviously it's outlined in this post.
Yep.
So, next one, I believe this gets us into December 3rd now, which is tomorrow. This one's 2546. It says, okay, is the plot moving forward? I think we all understand the characters and the conflict at this point. Time for the plot twist? D-class, finally? And then the post itself. The President of the United States initiated and confirmed the order when he stated the calm before the storm. When was the statement made? When did Q go active? Watch the news, watch the FBI, watch the DOJ. Now, the reason I find this interesting is this is another post that'll be in my show later on tonight. And it's a post that General Flynn put out there. And in that post, General Flynn is talking to President Donald Trump. And he describes what's coming as like the worst category hurricane, sir. Which would be what? A storm.
That's right.
And what has Trump been doing a lot of lately? Posting to the Twitter account or the X account. And shout out Asshole that gifted 5 subscriptions, and shout out Nevada Night Owl that gave 5 subscriptions. Thank you guys for that. Anything you want to add to this one? If not, we'll get closer to you.
Well, no, I think that this is completely relevant. I mean, we are living the boards right now. So take in the context what happened then is something that is going on right now. So where did Q go active? Watch the news, watch the FBI, watch the DOJ. When did Q go active? Well, guess what? If we want to look at when the Q board started to go active as proxy boards of communication, it's now. It's between Flynn and Trump. The communication that we're watching happen. It's Trump going out there and posting and reposting all the Anons and all the Patriots. They're active now. And so watch the news, watch the FBI, watch the DOJ. We could see some D-class probably happen. And I think that by the end of this week, we're going to have some big boom. And potentially whatever Donald Trump announces tomorrow could be one.
I really think probably tomorrow, and I think Sean Hannity's probably going to say something in his show tomorrow that's gonna put a ribbon and a bow on it. Well, we will know by the end of tomorrow.
And Alpha, you missed this one, but RB Rodway gifted 5 subscriptions. Thank you so much. Thank you, Maggie Bundy, for letting us see that.
Thank you for saving me on that one.
And 4D Starks gifted memberships as well. So
nice.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah, they're going crazy with subscriptions out there.
I love it. Next post, still on December 3rd. This is the one that we addressed earlier. This is 2542, and it's Donald Trump saying, "Watch Sean Hannity tonight at 9 p.m." So that's for tomorrow. Next one is also December 3rd. It's 2539. The public is about to learn that the DOJ, FBI, plus other U.S. foreign assets have been actively working behind the scenes in one of the largest criminal investigations in modern day history. D-class is greater than purpose, which is greater than illuminate the truth, which is greater than the people. Transparency is the only way forward. Controlled media, enemy of the people. I really think some big news is coming, bro.
Oh, I do too. We're coming into some really good heart of it posts, especially D5. D5 Avalanche, D5 Chess.
Next one, and I think this will be wrapping up the third. 2537, odds of a state funeral on D5. How many coincidences before mathematically impossible? 68, 95, 99.7, rule Q. Anything you want to warm us up on this one?
No, that's from December 3rd, 2018. I think that was going into G.W. Bush's funeral.
All right. And then that brings us into D4. The only one I really wanted to cover here, I'm not going to go through all 13, but the last one, the last delta for December the 4th, 2548, it has December 4th, and it says, "Who knows where the bodies are buried? Flynn is safe. We protect our patriots. Q." And then where was the other thing that I wanted to read? Senate was the target. Comms understood 5-5. So
that was relevant back then. The more important one would be the Red Cross one across there. The Future Proof Pass, where's the Red Cross, runs deep, children pray. Doesn't have relevance right now, but it does have relevance right now. Obama is making big strides, but
I want to bring up this Senate was a target. So there's some stuff circulating in Rumorville, and I won't give it any more credibility than that in Rumorville, that there's going to be a very significant move in the Senate. And so Senate was a target. Do we see that this week on the 4th? I'm curious. And like I said, it's Rumorville, so I don't want to give it any more credibility than that. But if it does happen, I want everybody to remember that particular post. And I think this should take us into December 5th. So I'll turn it over to you. But I wanted to get the December 5th started with this one, 2558. And it says, "It's all just a conspiracy. Nothing to see here. Nothing is happening. Russia, Russia, Russia. Do we see peace between Russia and Ukraine this week? Do we see it happen on D5?" And with that, I turn it over to you, brother.
Yeah. So number one, there's the Marshall attack is one of the deadliest chess moves out there. This happened in 1918, Casablanca versus Marshall. And the middle move that determines the board, if the whole Marshall attack is going to move or not, is known as the D5 move. All right. So this is critically important. This was actually put on post 531 on the Q boards, but they're talking about Fox 3 on that. But really the part of focus is the D5 move, because D5 is what sacrifices the key parts of the chessboard, whether it's the queen or the rook, but then allows for the checkmate scenario to happen. D5 is also a classification of avalanches. It's the type of avalanche that becomes so great and powerful with momentum that nothing can stop it. And so we are coming up to December 5th, D5, which obviously is representative symbolic of this. Is something going to happen this week? Well, we have the whole stage is set right now for everything to happen. Donald Trump is addressing the nation tomorrow from the Oval Office in the morning, December 3rd. What's he going to say? I don't know. But we have D-Day coming up, December 7th, coming up here next week. That's going to be very interesting to hear what happens there. There's very few World War II survivors coming up. But yeah, man, it's an interesting time to be alive. We're about to see some things unravel here. I think that Trump is going to make some. I think that Trump is going to do some action this week. I think there's going to be something. Whether it's so, Sheinbaum actually backed Maduro and came out and said we stand with Colombia and Maduro. That's not a good thing. Trump threatened Colombia, so he basically said that anybody is an option if they're bringing drugs into our country. Is he going to do ground operations or air assault? I don't know. I think he's hinting at the ground operation because he's actually going to do a bombing campaign, but it's going to be cartel locations. That's at least my thoughts on it. And that could happen any moment now. So we'll see, man. It's going to be a crazy show Sunday and Tuesday next week. So
a whole lot of booms, bro. Whole lot of boom. And just remember, like a magic show, look here, but the move's being made there. And so is everything supposed to be, is Venezuela the power move, or is Venezuela the distraction? We're going to find out.
Yep.
And that's why heads have to be on a swivel when it comes to this stuff.
Well, that's why I always said that Venezuela was a distraction to get the military moving, to get the people deployed, to get all the assets out there, because even in the Caribbean, they are just hours away, instantly deployable anywhere in the United States of America at a moment's notice, where if shit did kick off, which I think is huge because it's keeping the violent protests and the sleeper cells at bay. At least that's my thoughts.
All right. Well, then let me zoom in on these Rumble rants so I can bring them up so we can start discussing this stuff. And man, chat is off the hook right now. All right, let me bring this up on the screen so everybody can see. And here we go. All right.
Whoa.
Like Kim K started from the bottom. Now we hear $50 from Hope continues. Looking forward to another great show. Always an informative evening. Well, I hope we satisfied your expectation tonight, Hope. 55 coming in from Micro Toolmaker. Where we go one, we go all. $5 coming in from the new Prue. Pray to the Lord of the harvest to send out more workers, more laborers into the fields. Matthew 9:38.
Thanks, dude.
$5 from Yarn Addict. Did you guys figure out the dots from the ghost video? I think it's the Think Outside the Box game. Josh, look at Dr. Lee Merritt's show Outside the Box. Kazarian, Ashkenazi, Amalekite.
Amalekite, Origins Explained. I'll check out Dr. Lee Merritt's stuff. Thank you. And about the ghost video, I think that they're talking about the fourth PSYOP video.
Yeah.
To where they had the people in the box, the 3x3. Yeah. I was actually trying to figure that out. I never did figure it out. So
yeah, I looked at it because I felt like there was something there too. And you got the one guy that looks up. I marked the time, couldn't find something relevant from the time, but I'm there with you too, Yarn. I do feel like there is a there. So if you guys saw it and you guys have some theories, dropping them in the comments. I'm very curious to see if somebody figured something out with that or found a correlation. $25 from Texas Joel. DEFCON ZERQ, best Q show, bar none. Sup to all my Badlandia Task Force fam, because I know you're all watching. Q for Smarties. So love that. So absolutely love that. And like I said, you give me and Josh those hats, we will definitely sport them. You have our word on that one. You want to comment to that at all?
Oh, appreciate it. Texas Jules is awesome. Appreciate you.
$5 again from the new Prue. Start a prayer group to support saints on the front lines. Before anything materializes in physical realm, it starts in the spiritual realm. Pray for the kings and all those in authority. 1 Timothy 2:2.
Appreciate it.
Prayer is absolutely powerful. $20 coming in from Maria Teresa, 1776. My favorite DEFCON duel. Hi, Alpha. Josh, I love the song. There was a time played after your show. I downloaded it and 2 other songs added to my Apple playlist. Here's $20 for the songs.
Awesome. Thank you,
LOL.
Maria.
Right on. $10 from Moo Mama 18. I'm a mail carrier in Florida. I started following Alpha since the interview with Barry. I've been red pilling my coworkers. I've been taking them down rabbit holes. Q has been a daily topic at work. That's what I'm talking about right there.
That's right.
Heck yeah. Bring it into your environments in real life. That is freaking solid. Shout out to Moo Mama 18. Shout out to your guys' entire carrier office out there. I know this is going to be a busy freaking month for you guys. So thank you for the work that you guys do and all of our mail workers across the country. Here we go. Keith O'Higgins. Never know what we're gonna get. Dollar for dollar, Keith O'Higgins. I think Alpha and Josh made sandwiches tonight for the Q community. We should call them Serbian server melts with overstock dipping sauce. I see what you did there, Keith.
Yeah.
See what you did there. $5 from Rise Attire. I'm all for applying pressure, and I'm not shitting on the prerogative. Thank you. We're good. Prerogative. I just hope that the White Hats have enough sense and drive to destroy the Fed, regardless if everyone calls for it or not. And dollar for dollar from, you pronounce this one.
Lori Ruggiero.
Booyah. Dollar holla for 6K viewers.
Heck
And we
yeah.
are. And I think the update on the numbers is at 6,500 on Rumble and over 4,000 on the X and YouTube channels. So thank you for that. Boom. $100. The boom diggity. Walter Annenberg has influenced public opinion, policy, and international diplomacy in the U.S. for decades, often under the banner of philanthropy, all pictured in that drop, Our Pilgrim Society.
Yep.
I've heard about the Pilgrim Society. I've never gone down that rabbit hole, so I'm aware of them. I'd like to look into that. I don't know. You got a little
No, we can do a deep dive on it.
All right, I like that.
Got a great show we can do it on.
$50 coming in again. The boom diggity, not done. Great list here of the members of the Pilgrims of Great Britain, and then there is the link. So I'm going to keep that one unshaded so we can grab that later. $5 from Funky Joe Medina. You guys are a great team, and I love when you have a show with Brad as well. Awesome info. Yep, and that's on Sunday, you guys. Midnight Eastern, and that is Q After Hours, if you weren't aware of it. Dang, boom diggity coming in tonight. $20 book everyone should check out, History of the Special Relationship. And there is the link right there.
You're gonna have to send me these links after we're done here.
Yeah, I'll grab them. I'll keep them, and I'll put them in the private chat too, so we don't lose them. $17 CAC coming in from Design Lady La LA. This is the best show on Badlands, or is it Q After Hours? I just can't decide.
Love it.
They come in tied. $10 from the Boom Diggity. Here's the link to the book Images with Annenberg and many more. Thank you for all these links, Boom Diggity. I'm going to be jiving on all these tonight when I'm done with my show as well. $10 coming in from Jay McLean. You are spot on your explanation. Love you both. We love you too. Thank you for that. $5 from EH Kyle, Alpha, and Josh. Did you realize that Rep Comer subpoena the archivists for documentation of Biden's use of the auto pin, and they found no documents? I didn't hear that they didn't find any documents.
I haven't heard that. I was actually looking up on Comer's post to see if there was anything on there. But that just means that none of the documents were filed with the archivist, which typically happens after the administration leaves. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's interesting. If you got a link for that, please post it out there.
Yeah, I was aware of the subpoena. I wasn't aware what that resolution came to. So I'm curious on that as well. $5 coming from S Hole. Support Badlands Media. Right? Email your senators and SCOTUS. Make your opinions be heard. Show your love for DJT. He didn't have to do this. Show your dislike for your least favorite cabinet officials in a legal and constitutional way. Absolutely. Just to make sure. I got your back on that, asshole. $5 from our Broadway. Please consider posting music titles in the show description. Horses Are Life on X. I'm a shill in your army.
Awesome. Appreciate you.
Right on. And you guys, if you don't know, Josh has so many great freaking tunes that he's come up with. I got a few that I'm getting ready to put out there. Just haven't been able to find the time to do it just yet. But I think you guys will like them, including one for my story. $10 from Low Light Recovery. Have you folks followed the evidence from Nanjing University through to the Biden administration? The Diane and Goldford Glazer Foundation is worth a look. I'm not familiar with that. Are you?
Nope. We'll have to take a look at it.
Yeah, that's more homework. $20 coming in from Maggie Bundy. Blow Gabriel Blow donated 5 subs. Oh, this is the one you caught. Good on that. Donated 5 subs, and 4D Starks donated 20 subs. You guys should consider podcasting for a living. Good at it. Thank you for that, Maggie. And that will conclude the Rumble rants. I'll give the mic to you. I'm going to go check out see if we have any boost.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. And so for anybody asking about the music, some of the music that we do play, a lot of those are the ones that I've written a lot of the lyrics for, and we had AI generate the music out there. And so you can find those, if John doesn't mind us giving that out there, redpillsmusic.com. Redpillsmusic.com is where you can find a lot of that music. But yeah, appreciate all the support. You guys are amazing and awesome. Man, the Badland audience, the Red Pill audience, the Alpha Warrior audience. We got the best audiences in podcasting. I'm telling you that right now. And Christmas is coming. I'm excited about Christmas. I got to get my tree up this week.
Christmas is absolutely coming, and no Badlands boost, so we are good there. I'm going to reload it just to make sure we don't leave anybody out. And no, okay, so we are covered there. So Josh, you want to let people know where they can follow you, where they can find you, and then I'll go after you and we'll do our last commercial.
Yeah. Number one is Red Pill. So if you guys look right under my name, we got on X at Real Joshua Reid. Last name is REID. And then redpills.tv is my website. And all my links and social media and all the ways to support me are actually at redpills.tv. REDPILLS.tv. One of the best places, Substack, redpillproject.substack.com.
And my stuff's easy as well. alphawarrior.tv. You can get into the trenches of social media with me on the links there. And like I said, in about 30 minutes, I'll be starting my show. They'll give me a chance to go make a gentleman call, reload my coffee, get my drinks, and I'll drop that in the chat for those of you that want to raid on over there. Actually, let me do that before I forget. Get that ready. If you guys want to party in my live chat until we get the show going, I would definitely appreciate that. And if it's too late for you, I understand. Hopefully you can catch the replay. You can do me a solid and share it on the way out. I'm going to do our last commercial then, Josh. You got any good video?
I got a Rumble video I can play on the way out, as long as you hit the outro afterwards. And people will love this. This is one of my favorite videos. And it's you'll like it.
All right. Well, here's our last ad. You might recognize a voice in this commercial. Just saying. They say confidence starts with a smooth skin. And baby, Soft Disclosure Lotion delivers.
I swear by this stuff. Like, I kid you guys not. This is the first lotion I've ever had in my entire life that, like, I don't get ashy after I put it on any part of my body. Like, my hands are always dry, and my hands have not gotten ashy without, like, rinsing them through water and washing them with soap since I started putting Soft Disclosure on. Like, it is Black Man approved. I kid you not.
Black Man approved. You heard him. And let's be real. If it can handle his hands, it can handle anything.
Feet are like, they get so dry. Like the heels of them it'll just kind of like flake off. Like, but with soft disclosure, once you put it on, like it starts to absorb it.
Yeah, he went there. Don't worry, we won't show you his feet, but trust us, they're smoother too. Soft Disclosure Lotion is made with aloe, goat's milk, honey, and our exclusive oil blend that actually restores your skin barrier. Visit softdisclosure.com, use code BADLANDS, and get 15% off. And by trust us, that does not mean that we saw his feet.
That's right.
Just to be very clear. Thank you guys for joining DEFCON ZERQ tonight. Josh is going to play the outro video for us. Then, like I said, at the end of that video, I'll raid my channel for all of you that want to go in and catch up with me there. That's all I got, brother.
All right. Much love, respect. God bless, guys. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Oh, that's not. All right. Good night, guys.
Here, on this land, on this soil, on this continent, the most incredible dreams come true. This nation is our canvas, and this country is our masterpiece. We look at tomorrow and see unlimited frontiers just waiting to be explored. Our brightest discoveries are not yet known. Our most thrilling stories are not yet told. Our grandest journeys are not yet made. The American age, the American epic, the American adventure has only just begun. Our spirit is still young, the sun is still rising, God's grace is still shining, and my fellow Americans, the best is yet to come.
Thank you. Mr. Top.